For reasons yet to be determined, the bodies of the recently deceased are returning to life and attacking the living.
This pandemic has spread faster than any disease in modern history.
Angry mobs around the city, burning buildings.
All of Raccoon City is suffering again with the release of a biological weapon known as the T-virus.
Dr. Birkin, you come along with us quietly.
This is my life's work. I'm not handing over anything.
We have our orders, Dr. Birkin. I'll ask you one more time.
She is my creation.
They don't want the world to know what they've done, so they're trying to erase all evidence that the virus ever existed.
On the early hours of Thursday, September 24th, the Pentagon, having also been briefed by Umbrella, sent out a force to assess the spread of the virus throughout Raccoon City. Umbrella was, of course, selective in what details and information they shared. The government remains wary, knowing that the company does research on dangerous viruses, but focuses on the assessment of the situation instead. By now, the T-virus has been coursing through the city's water supply for a little more than 24 hours. Later estimates indicate that roughly half of Raccoon City's population was infected over the course of September 23rd, with even more becoming infected overnight and into the morning of September 24th. People becoming sickened from exposure to the water began to flood the Raccoon City General Hospital around midday of the 23rd and non-stop into the 24th. It was later discovered that the first cases of T-virus infected people actually came into Raccoon General Hospital as early as September 10th. Though Umbrella succeeded in keeping these early cases a secret, the situation at the hospital became critical on the 24th.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Violent incidents involving infected persons also began to skyrocket.
I went to go reach out to help her, and she bit me in the arm, scratched up my face, and I just took off.
It wasn't long into the 24th that the hospital became overwhelmed.
Seem to be improving. In the past few minutes, I've seen 4 ambulances and several cars pull up with victims seeking emergency care. Whatever's going on, it seems to be far from over.
To cover up the viral outbreak and to quell any panic, the Pentagon told the press they were investigating radioactivity in the area and began working with the RPD and the Raccoon City Fire Department in evacuating civilians from contaminated areas.
He also wants to stress the need for calm and the respect for law and order. The quicker people can get off the streets and into their homes, the quicker the appropriate federal and state agencies can reach these troubled areas.
By this time, people infected by the virus have begun to transform into zombies. Sporadic events of violence began cropping up, but the media either ignored these or played them off as civilians protesting against the sudden forced evacuations of their neighborhoods. The United States Army National Guard was brought in, limited at first, to assist in evacuations. The first Chinooks containing evacuees took off on September 24th at 10 a.m., after staging at the Raccoon City Zoo and Raccoon City Park, among other smaller public venue locations. The situation during the first day was immensely confusing, and many people continued with their ordinary routine, despite the increasing violence and selective evacuations occurring around them. Local media did not cover the evacuations, mainly focusing on the annual fair and Raccoon Sharks football game, which had seen a few moments of violence during the match.
There was a disruption earlier at today's football match between the Raccoons.
But the situation was far worse. The majority of the stadium attendees at this point were either turning or had turned into zombies and had begun flooding into downtown. A group of 8 citizens were present in downtown at the time, later becoming known to the world as the Outbreak survivors. Around 7 p.m., police were called out to set up roadblocks with National Guard assistance. However, the roadblock plan was created by Chief Irons.
Damn. Another barricade. As you can see, there are too many roadblocks.
Specifically planned to stem civilian and emergency service movement in the city. Police were also ordered to kill civilians refusing to comply with official orders. While a smaller team of police officers was sent to Main Street to set up explosives in an attempt to stop the oncoming hordes from the stadium.
What's taking so long? Hurry up! I'm trying!
Amidst the growing chaos, a number of fires broke out around the city, putting a severe strain on the Raccoon City Fire Department. At Main Street, the police explosives operation was interrupted when officers were attacked and eaten while assembling the detonator. Eventually, with the aid of the Outbreak survivors, the police explosives operation was completed, stopping the hordes dead in their tracks. The series of explosions stopped the oncoming horde of zombies, but rendered Main Street impassable. This is also what split the Outbreak survivor group into 2 smaller groups of 4. David King would lead one frantic group to the Apple Inn Hotel in a hope that nearby Raccoon Fire Department personnel would be there to help them reach safety.
Len, you take downstairs. What's that? It's gonna blow! Get out!
The hotel proved to be a bad idea almost immediately, as parts of it were engulfed in a growing fire and being filled with G-variant BOWs as well as zombies. By this time, Raccoon City is engulfed in a citywide emergency. The T-virus infection has reached critical, uncontrollable levels. As a major portion of the population zombifies, scattered G-virus mutations also begin to appear in various locations, adding further to the dangers of the outbreak. As David and his group of survivors struggled through the Apple Inn Hotel, the second group, led by Mark Wilkins, attempted to reach an evacuation zone located near the city zoo. Upon arriving in the area, they find the roads leading to the evac zone blocked off, and that the only way forward now is through the zoo itself.
That looks like the city zoo's rear gate. If a rescue team's on the way, I'd better hurry. I have kind of a bad feeling about this, but it looks like I should check it out.
Teeming with animals infected by the T-virus, the group fights their way through the zoo, being stalked by an infected elephant while trying to find a way past the zoo's main gates. David and his group would eventually be rescued from the burning hotel by the Raccoon Fire Department and brought to a nearby evac center.
You made it. Get out. Hurry.
Come on. That was close. It's not just the hotel. Now the whole city is burning. You were lucky.
You helped.
A short time later that night, Mark and his group make it past the zoo's main gates after a brief battle with the stalking elephant. They board a trolley car that would bring them to a nearby National Guard evac zone, with helicopters awaiting takeoff.
My old man used to say there ain't a place left on this earth that isn't a war-torn battlefield. After being out of the service for so long, I'd forgotten that little saying. Oh!
The group's victory would be short-lived, however, upon arriving at the horrific scene at the National Guard evac zone. Around 9 p.m. that evening, an Army Chinook helicopter carrying evacuees crashed almost as soon as it lifted off the ground, due to several sick passengers succumbing to the T-virus while on board. In direct response to this tragedy, the U.S. government stepped in and decided that it would quarantine the city, using both National Guard and active Army personnel.
By creatures who feast upon the flesh. Since convening this conference of the Presidential Cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the CIA has not produced any public information coverage. Look for the name of the rescue station nearest you and make your way to that location as soon as possible.
The body should be disposed of at once, preferably by cremation.
The situation in Raccoon City would rapidly deteriorate overnight, as by this point, more than half the population has either been evacuated, killed, or zombified.
Who knows if this report will ever be transmitted? Communication is at best limited. The city, it seems, is being overrun with man-eating creatures, and...
They're coming!
Run!
The president wants to make it perfectly clear that this is not a case of bioterrorism. No such agents exist in the arsenal of any nation or known terrorist group.
This pandemic has spread faster than any disease in modern history.
Yes, in that the circulatory, respiratory, and other vital functions terminated, these subjects are technically deceased. Please just let me get through this and then I'll take my chance.
CDC has quarantined the lower Midwestern region of the U.S.
This is a minor, containable situation that we expect to see fully resolved in 24 hours or less.
Again, that was Press Secretary William Kaplan with the first official statement from the White House a little over 30 minutes ago, stressing calm and what he assures us is a fully containable situation.
Yesterday, just before dawn, the Pentagon announced that radioactive waste has been leaked throughout Raccoon City. In accordance with U.S. safety regulations, the city has been placed under quarantine, and the Army has been sent in to investigate and control the situation.
The United States Army quickly surrounded the city and set up roadblocks, sealing off any escape or entry. A no-fly zone was also established, in which only military, umbrella, RPD, and Raccoon Fire Department helicopters were permitted to fly. Just like the majority of Raccoon City, the military was largely unaware of the situation's true nature. Only 2 days after the initial outbreak, the RPD was already in dire straits. The force was taking on too much, all while suffering a steady increase in loss of personnel on the ground. A group of outbreak survivors fled the evacuation center that the Raccoon City Fire Department had brought them to, having been overrun by zombies, which now filled the streets of downtown. They fled towards the outskirts of the city and headed into the forests of the Arklay Mountain region. The group was accompanied by Alyssa Ashcroft, a Raccoon City reporter who also had ties with Ben Bertolucci and the missing reporter Kurt Diamond. Hoping they can find shelter somewhere nearby, the survivors make their way down a forested path, following signs to a groundskeeper's shack.
I don't get many visitors around here. I hear the city's in quite a state right about now. Well, there is an old road through these woods that leads to the neighboring town. It's easy to get lost, I'm afraid. Let me show you the way. Let's hope no one gets hurt. It's not like there's a decent hospital around here after all.
Hospital?
The group would find no rest in the forest, nor in the hospital ruins, as they were both stalked by BOWs and a murderous Al Lester. Alyssa and the survivors escaped the hospital, which collapsed afterwards according to her testimony, taking Al Lester with it.
So there you are, my dear. My dear Dorothy. I'll never leave your side again.
the survivors decided to retreat back to the city, hoping to figure out another way to escape.
That hospital's experiments were more than just human rights violations. They were crimes against nature itself. Kurt, your sacrifice won't be in vain. I'll escape this damn town alive and spread the truth about what happened.
Just after midnight, Chief Irons ordered a majority of the remaining RPD force to confront the zombie hordes head-on. This left the police station occupied by only a handful of officers and civilians. Around the same time, the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, or UBCS, deployed 4 platoons into the city, comprised primarily of mercenaries and former Soviet Union soldiers. Despite their numbers, training, and equipment, the police force was quickly destroyed. This event became known as the RPD Massacre. A majority of the UBCS force was quickly destroyed as well. Though the defeat of the force wasn't expected at such a scale, Umbrella was secretly recording the mercenaries' battles with the BOWs in the city. Umbrella treated the deployment of the UBCS in the same manner as they did with the STARS raid back in July. A new Day X scenario, but on a larger scale.
Huge. These 9mm are useless. Almost got.
The company had planted monitors into the platoons, UBCS members of rank that were meant to observe the BOWs engaging in combat with the UBCS regulars and would record the data. One confirmed monitor escaped Raccoon City, former Sergeant Nikolai Zinoviev. He would later become a central figure in the smuggling and sale of Umbrella BOWs through the black market. Umbrella Europe would also seize upon the opportunity, deploying multiple MA-121 Hunter variants into the city that night. They would also deploy their Nemesis T-type into the city, by air, programming it with orders to hunt down the surviving STARS team members and eliminate them. Later in the evening, the Raccoon City General Hospital became non-operational. It had been taking on fatalities to its staff since before the water contamination on the 23rd. The staff had opted to remain at the hospital from the start, in a valiant and frantic effort to develop a cure for the T-virus that they had been trying to develop for several weeks. Surprisingly, the staff actually succeeded in developing the vaccine, but failed to vaccinate themselves in time. Umbrella would have the hospital destroyed 2 days later, after somehow discovering its staff had developed a successful vaccine. However, on this night, some of the Outbreak survivors passed through the hospital, just before it fully succumbed to the encroaching undead.
Let's just try to listen to me! Hey! Hey, won't you die? Watch out! Shoo! Shoo! I just had a thought. My life is shit! Kiss my ass, bitch! Jim! Here! Listen to me!
Terror is our constant companion. It lurks in the shadows, ready to strike at any moment. Today, it chose me. Yet somehow I kept it together in that suffocating hospital. I suppose I should be thankful for that.
There's no turning back now. But it'll all be worth it.
What's wrong with this thing? Stupid piece of junk. Oh, it's losing electric pressure. Oh, screw it. I'll just find another way out of here.
A bit later on that evening, George would accompany Yoko through the nest facility below Raccoon City, which was in worsening condition due to the USS raid on the 23rd. Here, they would encounter a woman named Monica, a surviving researcher under William Birkin, as she tried to escape the nest with a G larva sample. It is speculated to this day that Monica is not the only surviving G researcher to try and escape with a sample from that lab. Attacks involving G-variant BOWs in the 2000s would prove this speculation.
Wait! Are you after this too? You are, aren't you? Oh, you are so... Stop it.
Yoko, having been a young Umbrella intern, was in possession of a Nest ID card, but she had suffered a loss of memory regarding her involvement with Umbrella. It was on a whim that she thought to come to the lab, with the hope of finding answers for herself and behind the city's plight.
Yoko, you little lifesaver. I'm so glad we had this chance to catch up. Have a nice life. What's left of it.
Various BOWs were released by William Birkin in an attempt to thwart the USS raid on the night of the 22nd. As a result, most of the G-Virus project team was wiped out, but managed to activate a failsafe, which plunged the B4F level into a frozen state.
Come on! It won't move! Why? Oh, give me a break! I don't believe this! Something else I have to fix to get out of here.
Yoko would find no answers to her personal mystery in the nest, only becoming more worried about her involvement with Umbrella ever since coming face to face with its creations.
But I cannot remember myself. Yet I feel something will change dramatically when I know everything.
The city is now lost to the T-Virus BOWs. The Outbreak survivors were forced into the city subway system as the military prepared to retreat its forces back to the outskirts of the city. With the streets growing increasingly dangerous, Jim Chapman leads the survivors into his old workplace, confident they can use the subway to escape the city safely. The subway, as you could imagine, proves to be no safer of a choice, having been overrun with BOWs. Many of the train lines were blocked by debris or derelict trains, so options for travel were very limited. Jim and the group are able to get one of the trains running after battling insect BOWs and zombies and decide to take it wherever it will go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the train will be departing shortly.
On the evening of the 27th, a familiar STARS team survivor decides it's time to make her last escape, realizing that by now, the city is completely lost. She escapes her overrun apartment building, but is quickly overwhelmed by the undead populace outside and retreats into a warehouse where she would wait out the night with another survivor, Dario Rosso. Around the same time, surviving UBCS Group Echo Team is given orders to clear downtown and secure the St. Michael's Clock Tower for use as an evacuation zone. They would fail in this mission, the aftermath of which would be discovered by Jill the following night. Back at the RPD, only a dozen police officers remain, and they too were suffering losses due to a lack of adequate equipment and manpower. With the chief missing and the majority of the police force having been wiped out the night before, desperate times have befallen the survivors within the RPD. Despite failing to reach the police station the day before, Kevin was determined to try again. With dawn fast approaching and the city's danger levels at a peak, Kevin hopes there are survivors at the station, even though persistent rumors suggest the station is lost. Kevin and his group reach the police station in the early morning hours, surrounded by the undead, with a handful of surviving police officers remaining. Officer Marvin Branagh is attempting to formulate an escape plan, quite the opposite of what Kevin and the survivors had hoped for.
So I'll get help and come back, right? Looks like it's a race against time.
Now that we've lost communications, there's nothing else we can do. All right, everyone. We've got to hurry up and find a way into that tunnel. It's going to be our way out of here.
Despite the letdown, Kevin feels guilty for not being at the station when it all started, and decides to aid his fellow officers. If they can all escape the station together, their group would become much larger, giving them more of a fighting chance on the streets. Kevin and the group battle across the police station, trying to access a service tunnel hidden in the main hall in a hope to send someone through to get help.
It'll take at least an hour to get through a space this narrow. Use this to keep in touch with me. It doesn't have much range, but the signal should get through if I'm close by.
Leave it to me. I promise I'll be back with help.
Despite their success in sending Officer Rita Phillips through the service tunnel, and with her returning with help, the station becomes overwhelmed by zombies, forcing the survivors to make a hasty retreat.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm headed your way now.
Listen up, everyone. Help's on the way. Get to the front lobby.
Don't worry about me! Just get going!
No way! I'm not leaving you behind!
Lieutenant Bernard is wounded while assisting the survivors in their escape, opting to remain at the station to distract the zombies from the fleeing group.
You don't need to worry about him, Rita. He was born to be a cop. It'll take a lot more than that to stop a tough guy like him. Hell, we haven't even finished training the new recruits yet. Right, Marvin?
I'm not dead yet.
September 28th, daylight. The monsters have overtaken the city. Somehow, I'm still alive.
As another day breaks over Raccoon City, Jill Valentine decides it's time to make a move.
Okay, we've got to get out of here.
Having been hunkering down in a warehouse overnight with survivor Dario Rosso, Jill understands rescue isn't coming and wants to try and escape the city with the help of daylight.
But there isn't gonna be any rescue. We have to get out of here.
No! I'm not going anywhere. I'd rather starve to death in here than be eaten by one of those undead monsters! Now leave me alone!
On her way downtown, Jill Valentine decides to stop at the Raccoon City Police Department to see if there's anyone left inside. There, she is attacked by the Nemesis T-Type after it had just killed former STARS team member Brad Vickers.
Hey.
Where am I?
Relax. You're fine.
If you say so, but my head feels like it's about to explode. Anyway, name's Carlos. Glad to meet you, lady.
I need to ask you something. Why did Umbrella send your team here?
Our mission is to rescue the civilians.
How kind of you. Considering Umbrella caused all this in the first place, those liars!
Look, we're just mercenaries, hired hands. Do you really think the master would tell his dogs why they have to retrieve the stick he just threw? No time for talking. If you can believe me, then join us. Think about it!
She is an elite operative of RPD, Special Tactics and Rescue Service. Her name is something Valentine.
It's Jill.
She manages to elude the seemingly indestructible creature, eventually linking with UBCS Delta Platoon survivors Corporal Carlos Oliveira, Sergeant Nikolai Zinoviev, and Captain Mikhail Victor, who planned to make their way to the clock tower and signal an evacuation chopper.
Jill!
What's wrong?
They're coming! They must have sniffed us out. They know we're here. Eat this!
Carlos! No!
Relax. I'm not dead yet.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. That hero stuff is harder than it looks. Okay, I'm gonna scrounge up some equipment. There might not be any at our destination. It's looking good. Mikhail!
Jill! Get out of the cable car, now!
Mikhail, wait! Don't!
Get out of here! Hurry!
Get off my train, shit bird!
Mikhail.
No! The brakes are out!
It's useless!
Even though the UBCS Echo team failed to secure the clock tower, Jill was still able to signal a waiting helicopter.
We're saved. Down here! It's finally over. Huh? No!
However, Nemesis thwarts these plans, and though it was rendered unconscious after an extended battle, so too was Jill Valentine after contracting a mutant strain of T-virus from a Nemesis attack.
Jill! Jill! Hang in there! What have I done? I'm sorry, Jill. Please, wake up!
Carlos, having secured the clock tower building and fortified an inner room within, decides to wait out the night and watch over Jill. The city around them continues to crumble into the next day, so much to the point that the government decides it's time to pull back the military forces quarantining the city. This military retreat would cause the roads leading to the city to be opened, roads that 2 certain people will use to enter Raccoon City on the following night. As day breaks, the U.S. Army, under official orders, is under full retreat from the city, attempting to rescue any remaining civilians under their care. However, during the retreat, the Pentagon ordered 2 Army Delta Force squadrons to deploy into Raccoon, with the task of reaching 2 key facilities in search of evidence against Umbrella. This would be the US government's last-ditch effort to try and place blame on Umbrella for the entire incident.
Echo 6, continue on foot to City Hall for intel on the location of Umbrella's facilities.
Several blockades along the highways and smaller roads on the outskirts were also abandoned, having been weakened by countless attacks from zombies and BOWs. One of these highways left open would later that night be used by 2 people to enter Raccoon City. Claire Redfield,
Finally here.
and Leon S. Kennedy.
What have we got here?
Right, that's far enough. Don't move!
Wait! Don't shoot!
We can't stay out here. Head to the police station. It'll be a lot safer.
Buckle up.
Okay.
Upon attempting to reach the RPD building, they are separated when a zombified truck driver crashes a tanker, causing a massive fire and roadblock.
Claire, you okay?
Yeah! I'm alright! How about you?
I can't stay here.
Go on ahead! I'll meet you at the station!
What are you doing here?
Are you the only officer left in the building?
Don't worry about me. Just rescue the survivors in the other rooms.
And be careful. If you see one of those things, no matter who they were, you can't hesitate. Take them out if you can. Or you run.
Between late night on the 29th and early morning on the 30th, Leon and Claire make their way through Raccoon City, encountering numerous G-variant BOWs. Having learned of the coming Delta Force raids, Umbrella ordered 6 T-103 Mr. X variants to be deployed to stop them. However, one unit was diverted to be dropped at the RPD building to ensure any remaining survivors within were taken care of.
Yeah. Have you seen a little girl around here?
Leon meets Ada Wong, a double agent working with Wesker,
Stop asking questions and get the hell out of here.
while Claire encounters Chief Irons and finds Sherry Birkin, daughter of Annette and William Birkin.
Don't hurt you, I promise.
Just get me the fuck out of here!
Where you going, Sherry?
Sherry!
As they struggle to survive the night, Leon and Claire discovered the vast nature of Umbrella's corruption. Determined to help end Umbrella's reign, the two survivors fight vigorously to escape Raccoon City.
Leon, please, escape.
No. We're a team. I can't just leave you behind.
I'm just a woman who fell in love with you. Nothing more.
Ada. No.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
I will always remember you. Goodbye.
Leon, you made it.
Use this!
Game over.
Leon, Claire, and Sherry managed to escape the city at dawn on the 30th of September, along with various pieces of information regarding Umbrella's secret programs.
Come on, time to leave.
Leon and Sherry would quickly be found and detained by U.S. military personnel still in the area. However, Claire had split from the other two survivors prior to them being detained.
After that, Claire set out alone to find her brother, and Sherry and I were rescued by U.S. government agents.
We have the authority to do as we please with you. You and that girl.
Just leave her out of this. She's an innocent.
An innocent who carries the G antibody. Don't worry. We're taking very good care of her. Bottom line is, you have the experience we're looking for. So if you want this to end peacefully, you really have only one choice. work for us.
And just like that, I found myself in the service of the U.S. government.
Later on that evening, the two U.S. Army Delta Force teams would meet their fates. One team is destroyed at the Raccoon City Hospital as they attempt to secure any samples of the T-virus antigens. While the other team is wiped out at Incineration Disposal Plant P-12A after battling with 5 T-103 Mr. X Tyrants.
Holy shit!
Shit.
As the United States government begins weighing options to end the Raccoon City incident, the fourth survivor of September 30th awakens and makes his escape.
This is Nighthawk. Come in, Alpha. Alpha, do you read?
Nighthawk, this is Hunk from Alpha Team.
Man, I thought you were all wiped out. I've been trying
I'm
to...
at point K-12. Need info on my extraction.
Guess there's no keeping down the Grim Reaper, huh?
My extraction point.
Relax, Mr. Reaper. I'm headed toward the front gate of RPD. Pick you up there.
Got it. Why'd you come back?
I wanted to meet the Grim Reaper.
Throughout the course of the week, a congressional committee was formed to discuss how best to end the viral outbreak in Raccoon City. It would be later revealed that, now deceased, former Senator Ron Davis was part of that committee. This was, of course, before the discovery of his insider trading with the former Will Pharma Corporation. This information won't be revealed until the East Asian bioterror attacks of 2012 and 2013, but a man named Derek C. Simmons, a member of a European secret society known only as the Family, was able to convince the committee to destroy Raccoon City entirely. It is believed, but never proven, that the Family used or uses American politics and influence to sway world power in their favor. If it were discovered that the US government all but enabled this disaster in Raccoon City, it would weaken American influence worldwide, something Derek Simmons was made to ensure would never happen. The solution would be a tactical nuclear strike on the city, which would most certainly destroy the outbreak and its creations. But this would also destroy any evidence of Umbrella's bioweapons projects in the city, also covering up any evidence of the government's involvement in Umbrella.
October 1st, night. I woke up to the sound of falling rain. I can't believe I'm still alive. Carlos?
It looks like our roles have been reversed from when we originally met, huh? Don't worry, Jill. This chapel is safe.
I've been infected by the virus, haven't I?
Hey! Take it easy.
I'm okay. Don't feel any pain. But that's what bothers me. If I can't feel anything, then what does that mean?
Don't give up, Jill. I'll take care of you. Whatever you do, don't let that virus beat you.
It is now October 1st, 1998, the end of one city's nightmare, and the beginning of a new age of fear for the entire world. After nearly 2 days, Carlos decides to search the Raccoon General Hospital for something to help Jill, who is finally awakened but still sickened from the T strain within her bloodstream. Carlos encounters Nikolai, who reveals himself to be an Umbrella monitor while attempting to murder fellow monitor Tyrell Patrick.
What's going on?
I'm one of the supervisors. That's all you need to know.
Wait!
This leads Carlos to discover documents detailing how the hospital staff succeeded in creating a T-virus vaccine.
This is VRC Chief Nathaniel Bard, September 29, 11 p.m. I am acutely aware that my time's running out. And I hope and pray, by making this recording and bringing the truth to light, that I can restore some small shred of honor to my name. All of Raccoon City's suffering began with the release of a biological weapon known as the T-virus. My employer, the Umbrella Corporation, engineered this virus, and they ordered my team to develop a vaccine, which we did. Now, I keep samples of this vaccine here in my office. The rest of it is stored underground. But those sons of bitches at the board, they want to destroy it. They don't want the world to know what they've done. So they're trying to erase all evidence that the virus ever existed. Now, I'm not a fool. I know they don't want me to...
Jill knew all along. And she trusted me anyway.
Carlos secures a vaccine sample and attempts to flee the hospital, which has by now been rigged to explode by Nikolai. Under orders from Umbrella, Nikolai was on a sabotage spree the morning of October 1st. One of many targets was the hospital, as Umbrella had found out about their vaccine success and wanted to ensure the vaccine and any other evidence was totally wiped out. Even with the missile strike on the city having been confirmed, Umbrella still wanted to make double sure that nothing regarding their viral programs survived the city's destruction.
It is important to remain calm and collected, even in the most extreme situations. In Umbrella's underground laboratory, I forgot that wisdom. Something about the meeting with Leon changed me. First things first, though. I must escape this town and survive in order to accomplish my objective. I can save the truth for after I make it out alive.
Injured from her experience in Umbrella's Nest laboratory, Ada Wong escapes through the sewers, aiming to rendezvous with her contact at the Apple Inn Hotel.
He lost his will and chose death. He was weak.
Wesker.
And you, Ada, you have also failed. Your actions in betraying us and helping that Leon fellow will have consequences for our organization.
See this? It's a tissue fragment with Birkin's G virus.
Well, despite some setbacks, you have proven your value to us. Ada, there are two things you must be made aware of. One, in just moments, Raccoon City will be completely eradicated by a government-launched missile. And two, an Umbrella officer will be leaving town in a helicopter. If you are not on it, there will be no way to leave Raccoon City. It is in our best interest that you survive. The G-virus sample is required.
If the T-virus did this, what would happen if the G-virus got out?
Nikolai's second mission would bring him to Raccoon City University, where rogue Umbrella scientist Dr. Greg Muller was preparing to test his ultimate creation.
Organization. What should be important becomes overshadowed by greed.
A UBCS team was sent with Nikolai to secure the unique Thanatos tyrant, but his true objectives were to assassinate Dr. Muller and destroy the university in order to wipe out yet another T-virus vaccine known as Daylight. Dr. Peter Jenkins, the co-developer of Daylight, made contact with an old colleague in the late hours of September 30th. Jenkins urged George Hamilton to meet him at the Raccoon City University.
Dear George, I have vital information about the current city crisis which only you will understand. I'm waiting at the university. Please contact me as soon as possible. Peter Jenkins.
This is Raccoon University. Why there?
Accompanied by a few of the other Outbreak survivors, George made his way to the university just hours before sunrise on October 1st. It didn't take long for George to find Dr. Jenkins, murdered in his office by Dr. Muller. Thankfully, George discovered notes and detailed instructions describing the Daylight vaccine and how to synthesize it. The group would have to gather 3 key ingredients, which could then be mixed in a small lab within the university.
Here.
Linda Baldwin, an Umbrella researcher, has struck a deal with USS Captain Rodriguez to secure an experimental viral suppressant named AT-1521 before escaping Raccoon City.
I say it's gonna be a big help to us later. I promise I'll be back before you know it.
Fine, but I'm not waiting long.
Already in possession of a stolen Umbrella BOW codenamed Nix, Rodriguez was eager to evacuate immediately.
My ass will be the first out the door, baby.
At a nearby above-ground Umbrella lab complex, the remaining 4 Outbreak survivors were attempting to raid the building for medical supplies. Miss Baldwin returned to the complex as the survivors came across Dr. Carter, who was also at the complex looking for the AT-1521 suppressant.
You're here for the sample, too, right, Linda?
Yeah, now let's take that and get the hell out of here.
Some kind of alert? Something's wrong. We should check it out.
Forced to traverse the lab in order to escape, David, Yoko, Mark, and Alyssa split up, along with Carter and Linda. The inner complex was swarming with escaped Hunter R variants, and was also cut off in various sections due to fires and emergency shutters. To help clear the way of the Hunters, Dr. Carter reprograms and releases a T-103 to kill off the creatures.
I've reprogrammed it to take out those amphibian monstrosities instead.
My favorite choice for a bodyguard, but oh well.
With the Mr. X variant now roaming the complex, the survivors begin to secure an escape route. During this time, Yoko inadvertently discovers a document that answers the questions she had been looking for about her missing memories. According to a partially censored document, Yoko Suzuki was one of many people who were used in an early T-virus testing program in 1996. Shortly after this, Linda was able to locate a sewer escape route leading out of the complex.
Here as well. Extraordinary. I told you, there is nothing to...
Their escape would be blocked, however, when the Mr. X variant turns on the survivors after eliminating all remaining hunters in the complex.
Hey! Are you okay?
Yes. Barely. What's going on?
No way! That monster just doesn't give up!
What? I thought we killed that thing!
No, it's been waiting for you!
He's playing with us. Carlos, do you think that it's unstoppable?
No, I don't think so. I'm sorry, Jill, but I've got to go take care of a few things. Oh, and bad news. Nikolai is still alive.
Nikolai? Are you sure?
Yes. I don't know how, but I do know that he is our enemy. Remember, don't trust him.
Jill Valentine, now awake but still pursued by the Nemesis, escapes the building and heads into Raccoon City Park. Shortly after hearing a radio transmission urging Umbrella members to evacuate the city, she encounters Nikolai, who divulges some information about being an Umbrella monitor.
Not exactly. Although the conditions encountered on this operation were extreme, it was an unexpected outcome that the team would be wiped out. We were only required to collect live data from the subjects.
Their conversation is cut short by what Ms. Valentine has described as the Gravedigger Mutiny.
What's going on? Whoa!
After killing the BOW, Jill makes her way into the P-12A incineration disposal plant with Carlos.
Rescuing you is becoming a full-time job.
Thanks, Carlos. I owe you.
Listen closely, Jill. They're going to launch a missile directly into the city as soon as day breaks.
At dawn? But that's only...
I know. We don't have much time left. We have to split up and find a way out of here. And hey, watch out for that traitor Nikolai.
Here, they attempt to secure what is believed to be the last helicopter available in the immediate area.
Nikolai?
Despite escaping into the sewers, Yoko and her group are pursued by the relentless T-103. The survivors eventually find Linda, and she explains the importance of getting out of the city with the suppressant sample.
That little capsule contained what could have been the only possible cure to the virus. I ran a check on the capsule and basically know how to recreate a new version, but none of that means a damn thing unless I can get my pretty little head out of here.
But their escape is further complicated when the sewer floodgates open, bringing the water level to about chest height and separating Linda from Yoko.
Hold on! Calm down. You must give me your blood.
Meanwhile, the UBCS team sent to the university encounters Thanatos, who is now roaming the university grounds freely.
What the? Impressive. I won't underestimate it next time. It must be going to the man. Might as well set it up. Just in case.
As Nikolai makes his way around the university planting explosives, Thanatos discovers the Outbreak survivors and begins to give chase. They notice the capsule of T-blood now stuck to the Thanatos' neck and decide to make a bold move. With all three ingredients in hand, George and the survivors make their way to the laboratory, but are interrupted shortly thereafter when Dr. Muller cuts power to the synthesis machine.
I have been monitoring your progress from here. I am grateful for your assistance. Daylight is it. The only resource against the T-virus.
I cannot give it over to Umbrella. They're the ones responsible for the catastrophe which has befallen the city. In retrospect, that entire T project was a total disaster. Brute force should not be the only criterion for a weapon. It must also be beautiful, unique, and godlike. You will also assist me. You're going to play with my ultimate creation.
Farewell. Almost time.
With only minutes to spare, the survivors reactivate the reagent machine and mix enough daylight to cure themselves of the T-virus and to bring 2 extra samples with them. They manage to escape the building just in time as Nikolai's explosives destroy the university. Since the government lifted the airspace restrictions over Raccoon, a Raccoon City Fire Department chopper was making one last round for survivors, which is how the massive explosion from the university drew their attention, leading them to discover George and the Outbreak survivors.
Is anyone down there? We're here to get you out.
Somewhere close.
There's a courtyard in that direction. Go there. We don't have much time. Hurry!
Unfortunately, a now mutated Thanatos managed its way out of the university, now standing between the survivors and their escape.
Help me, please! Ow! Hello there.
By now, Yoko and the other Outbreak survivors, with Linda separated from them, have escaped the sewers, but are immediately confronted by a now mutated T-103, also known as a super tyrant. After dispatching the super tyrant, the survivors come across Rodriguez, who is still waiting for Linda to return. The survivors press onward through Main Street, hoping that they can find Linda. Rodriguez knows what's coming in a few hours, but the survivors are still unaware of the looming danger at dawn. Ada makes it to the freeway in time to catch her ride. However, the super tyrant that just attacked the Outbreak survivors was already back on its feet, finding its way to the freeway as well. Ada drops the creature and uses her hookshot to hitch a ride. Linda makes her way onto the streets from the sewers, right inside of the UBCS kill zone set up to stop Rodriguez. She is quickly injured by a sniper, forcing her to take cover in the Apple Inn Hotel.
This will be the 99th rodent I kill.
A short while after Ada's departure, another UBCS team under the command of Umbrella executive Tommy Nielsen was nearby with orders to stop Rodriguez from escaping Raccoon with the Nix BOW.
Come on,
long do you plan to just sit here and do nothing? Can you get it through your thick skull? If the package gets out, it will be your neck on the line, not mine.
Rodriguez had stolen Nix from an Umbrella dockyard storage facility in an effort to sell it later, or use it as a bargaining chip for future legal matters.
Off any ground, exit.
What? Did you forget I'm the one that gives the orders here?
The team was heavily equipped and well positioned on an above-ground freeway, sporting anti-personnel mines, sniper positions, and anti-armor weaponry.
100.
Yoko and her group do manage to find Linda after navigating through a minefield, but are unable to return to Rodriguez in time. By now, Umbrella is warning all of its active units in Raccoon to evacuate, due to Code XX going into effect.
The order to put Code XX into effect has been issued. All units within the target area, evacuate immediately.
Code XX? They plan to contain the incident the old-fashioned way? By blowing up the target location and everyone in it with missiles? Why didn't you say anything, you weasel?
I kept telling you to hurry!
Damn!
Oh! Well, where are you going? You need to find that capsule!
You do it. I'm not gonna go up in flames with the rest of the town. This job is turning out to be a lot hotter than I had expected.
Hey! Wait!
As Rodriguez makes his escape with the stolen Nix BOW, Nielsen attempts to shoot down the USS Chinook. The botched attack causes the container with Nix to break free of its supports, crashing down on the freeway below.
What the?
Nix breaks free of its confines, eliminating the UBCS team and occupying the freeway. Not knowing what lies ahead of them, the Outbreak survivors with Linda escape the streets and head for the freeway, hoping to find a vehicle they can use to drive out of the city. At the incineration plant, Jill battles the Nemesis, downing it once more and this time causing it to fall into a vat of chemicals designed to dissolve materials.
You're still alive. Such persistence.
Nikolai?
Sorry, but there's no escape from here.
Jill is unable to reach the helipad before Nikolai. She attempts to negotiate with him, but fails.
Although I'm sure I'll miss you, it's time to say goodbye. You can either accept death with dignity or die with regret. It's entirely up to you.
Nikolai leaves Raccoon City in the last helicopter available in the area.
Jill, what happened?
Carlos, Nikolai beat us to the chopper.
I guess this is it then. But I don't want to die in a place like this. This isn't over yet. I'm not giving up, Jill. We still have a chance. Jill, that's it. We've got to find a way out of here, now!
Warning. Missile attack confirmed. Warning. Missile attack confirmed. Emergency level D. All personnel evacuate immediately.
George and his Outbreak survivor group are almost home free when the seemingly unstoppable Thanatos attacks them once more. With the RFD helicopter unable to land due to Thanatos, George finds an ampoule gun while fighting the creature. He quickly loads it with one of the daylight vaccine cartridges, a long-shot effort to stop the Thanatos. One well-placed shot downs the creature instantly, allowing them to board the helicopter. On the freeway, Yoko and the survivors battle the Nyx BOW, defeating it with the firepower left behind by the UBCS team. Given that the army has, by now, evacuated all roadblocks, Yoko and the survivors are able to drive straight out of Raccoon City. As Jill makes one last frantic search for an escape alternative, a now heavily mutated nemesis attacks her, having absorbed tissue from a nearby dead super tyrant. With the aid of a stationary rail cannon, codenamed Demon Sword of Paracelsus, Jill finally destroys the nemesis. Miraculously, someone waiting outside Raccoon City with a chopper heard Jill and Carlos's SOS signals and was closing in.
Thanks, you saved us.
I couldn't let you die.
Is it you?
Are you ready to finish this?
It's coming!
Yeah. It's the end.
Thus, Raccoon City vanished from the map. However, not everything disappeared with the town's annihilation. The nightmare would continue over the next few years as the survivors fought on.
Despite heavy media coverage, the truth behind Raccoon City's destruction did not come out for years to come, long after the infamous Raccoon trials had ended.
According to unconfirmed reports, the missile was allegedly nuclear. If this is indeed the case, then there's little hope of finding any survivors among the city's 100,000 inhabitants.
Umbrella's connections to the government also came to light, forcing the President of the United States to resign and ending Umbrella business ties with the U.S. military.
Stock plummeted here in Europe, dealt a serious blow to the business giant, resulting in its complete dissolution.
Umbrella's stock plummeted with government inquiries into their involvement in the Raccoon City incident. Before long, they were able to redirect responsibility for the incident. Part of the blame was cleverly shifted to the American government. Umbrella had strong ties and deep pockets. Thus, they were able to drag out the legal proceedings. Over time, it appeared that all evidence of Umbrella's involvement had vanished with the missile touchdown.
Announced that it plans to put taxpayers' money to work by allocating $1 billion for an anti-bioterror program.
He's a professional.
So am I.
Jill Valentine would continue to pursue leads regarding Umbrella's continued and now underground experiments, alongside Chris Redfield, joining the private anti-biohazard service. After assisting Chris Redfield in raiding Umbrella's base in Russia in 2003, she would co-found the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance alongside Chris. Following the Spencer Mansion incident, Chris Redfield briefly tried to locate the Umbrella HQ in Europe. In December of 1998, he would rescue Claire Redfield, his sister, from Rockford Island, and would raid the Umbrella base in the Russian Caucasus in 2003.
Everybody prepare for landing. Stay on guard. We can't afford any mistakes.
Following this, he would form the BSAA that same year.
We had enough surprises for one day.
After rescuing Jill from Raccoon City, Barry Burton would, after some months, join with Jill and Chris in the private anti-biohazard service. When the BSAA was formed in 2003, Barry opted to be with his family as opposed to pursuing bioweapons. An accident would occur shortly after, involving Barry's 2 daughters and a firearm mishap.
Helping people like them? That's why I joined the force.
Immediately following the Raccoon City incident, Claire and Leon Kennedy split up, and she continued to search for her brother Chris, while Kennedy continued to look after Sherry. After being captured by the military, in exchange for a promise in Sherry's safety, Leon agrees to join the government STRATCOM as a field agent.
So, you think BOWs actually exist? Oh, wait. You said you faced it before, huh?
Claire began her search for Chris Redfield immediately after escaping Raccoon City. This brought her to Paris in December of 1998. She was captured at Umbrella's Paris headquarters and was sent to the Rockford Island prison complex run by Umbrella. Immediately after being captured by the military, Sherry was placed in protective custody, personally conducted by Derek C. Simmons. In 2009, Sherry was released from protective custody, following her agreement to become an agent within the Division of Security Operations, also known as the DSO.
I survived the fate of Raccoon City thanks to Wesker's warning. Of course, I knew the only reason my life was spared was because I had the G-virus tissue fragment. But I would settle things in time. We were both used to being backstabbed and manipulated. I had a feeling our partnership would last a little while longer.
Mission accomplished. The survival rate was 4%, and valuable human resources were lost. but that is war. The mission objective takes priority over everything else. Holding to that principle is why I have never failed a mission. The death cannot die.
Yoko Suzuki, David King, Mark Wilkins, and Alyssa Ashcroft witnessed the blast from a safe distance. Yoko, along with Linda Baldwin, would later provide authorities with powerful evidence against Umbrella, including knowledge of the AT-1521 antigen and various documents regarding the company's secret programs. The revelation of Yoko being a surviving T-virus test subject would make Yoko a central figure in the coming court battles. Court battles in which Miss Baldwin would also provide key testimony alongside Yoko.
May be able to start again from the beginning. That's the one gift we humans have. We can rebuild.
George Hamilton, Cindy Lennox, Jim Chapman, and Kevin Ryman escaped by helicopter, with a sample of the Daylight antivirus in tow.
It's finished. I can finally rest. No, I have one thing left to do. I'm not a savior. It's just my duty.
On board the helicopter Ada escaped on was Colonel Sergei Vladimir, and with him, the UMF-013 supercomputer from the Arclay lab. This supercomputer contained all of Umbrella's archived research data, which would allow for Vladimir to continue Umbrella's work. He also assumed command of Umbrella USA during the incident, with plans to bring the company back to life within the black market.
With that, Umbrella will rise from the ashes.
Sometime after the Raccoon City incident, Sergei Vladimir would move the U.S. Umbrella main operating base below an oil refinery in the Russian Caucasus. This would result in the creation of countless BOWs aimed to be sold to terrorist organizations and rogue nations.
Here are today's results. It's been 6 months, but the number's still the same.
6 months after the bombing, a government exclusion zone was still in force around Raccoon City's ruins, with a research station established in the center of the ruins. At the time, the government was known to be collecting surviving T-virus samples from the ruins, but for what purpose has yet to be revealed. At this point, and for many years to come, the existence of the T-virus was publicly denied. Government denials and Umbrella cover-ups continued until about 2003, when the private anti-biohazard service raided the oil refinery in Russia, officially bringing Umbrella to its knees.
There's no time to wait for authorization from the Russian government. That facility is an Umbrella base.
Yeah. We can't let them get away with this.
Chris, it appears our fates are forever intertwined.
Done for. We struck a fatal blow.
The end of Umbrella is just a question of time. But...
Yeah. He's still out there.
The Talos project Umbrella placed so much faith in had failed. However, Chris and the others were a little too quick to pat themselves on the back. It was not by justice or faith that they would prevail against Umbrella that day. No, it was only with my help that they were able to succeed. The only thing that can defeat power is more power. Ironic, perhaps, but the truth can be so cruel.
According to the latest reports, Umbrella has been found guilty on all charges of crimes related to the Raccoon City incident 5 years ago. The prosecution has remained quiet on how they acquired proof of Umbrella's involvement, and the defense plans to appeal the decision on the grounds that the evidence is not admissible in court. The Russian Ministry of the Interior has agreed to cooperate with the FBI in finding the whereabouts of Oswald E. Spencer. Mr. Spencer has been determined to have played a large part in the biohazard that contaminated Raccoon City. An anonymous witness close to the suspect was invaluable in providing evidence about Mr. Spencer's involvement.
This film was made to ensure that you, the people, know the whole story of Raccoon City. Its release marks the first time the complete story has ever been told. But even still, to this day, there are a large portion of the 100,000 civilians that have never been identified or recovered.
Little hope of finding any survivors among the city's 100,000 inhabitants.
They may be lost to us, but they have never been, nor will they ever, be forgotten. Let this film stand to honor their unspoken names and to also give tribute to those we know we lost. The world may now finally know their story.
The estimated number of bioterror victims has skyrocketed from hundreds
Even
of
to this day, the threat of Umbrella's dark legacy still looms. From bioterror attacks to new man-made pathogens, the world will never be the same after Raccoon City. In the years to follow, we would bear witness to numerous events similar to Raccoon City. Sheena Island, the Terra Grigia panic, the Graham abduction, the attacks in India and the Harvardville airport in 2005, and the Tall Oaks and Lanchiang incidents. These are just the large-scale events. There's dozens of incidents spread between them, spanning the world over. If we've learned anything from the film at hand, it's that greed and power will always drive people to repeat the mistakes of the past. Power over man, wealth beyond measure, the ability to play God. That which drives evil is numerous. Knowing this, however, is not what stops evil. We must first never forget. We must then continue to learn from the past, so that we may recognize these evils when they appear, and use our experience to send them back the other way. I only hope that this video will play even a small role in that process.
times in which I'm dying are the best I've ever read. I find it hard to tell you, I find it